Hello, and welcome back to Studio Kaiju's RC review program. I am Joe, and I am here today to talk to you about something special, something I've been wanting to talk about for a little while now. All right, this case. Ooh, what's in it? And is it worth anything interesting? Let's find out.
This series presents information based in part on theory and conjecture. The producer's purpose is to suggest some possible explanations, but not necessarily the only ones, to the mysteries we will examine.
Okay, we're back. All right, so what is in this case? What's so special about it? Why is it interesting? It is the DJI. No, that's not right. It's not a DJI. Doesn't say DJI anywhere on here, does it? Why? That's because this is the Cogito Specta Mini, a virtual clone of DJI's Mavic 4, the Mini 4. And it is not 100% identical, but it is extremely close. So if you're already familiar with the DJI 4, you already have a good idea of what to expect from this. And there are plenty of reviews out here that will go through step by step all the differences. One of the things I did when I got it was it came with one battery, and I thought, that's not right. And I figured, well, I should do something. I should go ahead and get myself a second battery. So I went ahead and I ordered another DJI battery, being as the batteries look and have the same specs, are almost identical, and it fits too. And in fact, actually, when I put it in and I turn it on, it will turn on, but it won't operate because the software is geared differently and will not accept these. So I got a couple of batteries for sale. Anyhow, the Specta Mini is basically built almost identically to your DJI. I'm not going to keep talking about DJI because this is really about the Specta, but it unfolds in the same way. So, the back legs fold down like that. They don't just flop out like a lot of the entry levels that want you to think that they're a DJI. You of course have a camera on a true 3-axis gimbal with suspension. And I got to tell you, the video on this thing, you probably know this already, but the video on this thing is absolutely stunning. I am so in love with it. So there's that. The camera itself has some impressive specifications too. I had to write this down because I want to make sure I get it right first time out. It is true 4K at 3,840 by 2,160 line resolution. It has a 29.97 frames per second, or actually technically with video it's fields per second, which is very good. It's pretty much the standard. I believe it has the capacity, if you lower the 4K down to 2K, I believe you can go to 60 frames per second. But here's the kicker. Here's the thing that really pushes this guy over the edge. And I'll tell you how much of a difference this is. This comes in at 100,087 kilobits per second bit rate, not 10,000. 100,087 kilobits per second bit rate. What does that mean? That means that all the information that is gathered from the camera flows right immediately in with no buffering, no loss of information into the video. So you get practically pristine video. Certainly the best video you're going to get for any sub $300 drone at this point. And I'll show you examples of some of the videos that I've shot this summer. I didn't travel to exotic locations, but I made the area I live in look a little more exotic than it does. So, oh, by the way, that video that I'm telling you about, I'm not talking about what transmits to your phone. I'm talking about, and this is something that I really love. See here, there's the charging port, micro USB, or I'm sorry, USB-C, and right next to it is the micro SD card. And that means the video will transmit right into the video card. You can see the video crystal clear on your phone, which is connected to your controller, which we have one right here. And I'm going to talk about this in just a moment, why this is so impressive to me. But you can see that video, but you want the really, really sharp stuff. It comes right off the micro SD card. Excuse me, a little bit of a hiccup. And I probably haven't told you anything you don't know at this point. Here's something you may not know, and this comes to me courtesy of a video that came up a week or so back from a fellow RC reviewer, Half Chrome, that the and I urge you to go check this out from him because it did work. The software for your phone app does now have a firmware update for the fly safe portion of the program. And if you go in there and you update it, and I'll tell you how seriously useful this is, you will be able to fly in geofenced areas. How do I know this? Well, as it happens, where I live, it's not geofenced, not at all. But where I work, which is about a 20-minute drive away from where I live, it's heavily geofenced. There is an airport a couple miles away, and right next to that airport, which is a civilian airport, is a military airport. And on the other side of me, we have a major power facility. So they pretty much want to restrict flying in this area. So this is a very heavily restricted place. When I first got the Specta, one of the things I did was I tried to launch it here at work because I had it shipped here. And I was like, why won't it spin up? I don't understand. But then it said, oh, yeah, you know, this area is geofenced. The app actually said that. So I'm sitting there going, well, that kind of bites because I wanted to fly it here. And I resigned myself to, well, you win some, you lose some. And I'll get into that in just a moment, why this is all very important. But I took it home, and of course, it flew wonderfully. Spotlessly wonderfully. This is the jewel of my collection so far, and I don't see it being supplanted anytime soon because I've been able to do things comfortably. That's the key. Comfortably, that I would never try with pretty much any other drone so far. Now, granted, I've been working in a lower level of drones. A lot of my early days flying in the last year or two have been with the sub $70 price range. So I'd be like, oh, hey, this has brushless motors. That's cool. So obviously, I don't want those things getting more than 100, 150, maybe 200 feet at the tops away from me. Whereas this thing is rated to go 6 miles. Now, I'm not going to fly at 6 miles. First off, my eyesight at 62 is not phenomenal. So I'm not going to see that thing line of sight for 6 miles. I'm not going to see it for a mile. So I'm not going to fly it for a mile. But what I could do with it was take it further than I have taken any other drone. And I could do it knowing comfortably that I have a very high probability of it returning. And a lot of that comes not just from the drone, but it does come from what's in this guy. Now, this remote has a USB charge. So it's got a nice, healthy, very powerful battery in there that is used not just to keep the connection with the Specta, but it's also used to support the phone so that the phone doesn't lose power and you don't lose connectivity. The connection is a 5G connection between the transmitter and the phone app and the drone. And so far, I've got to admit, I've not experienced not even a single glitch in the video. And I've flown it so many times this summer, and here we are, middle of October, and I've not had a single problem no matter where I flew it. And I flew it way out over the Niagara River. I flew it well, actually, that was a lot of my favorite place to go, was the Niagara River and the mouth of the Erie Canal and so forth. This is a very beautiful area to shoot at. And you'll see some of that. I've never lost where I was with this thing. And if I did momentarily lose line of sight, because you are talking about trying to watch something this big up in the sky, way up there, you can use the camera on there and go, okay, that's where I should be right there. Okay, so we fly back towards that. And that's without having to hit the return to home feature, which is on the app. And I have tested the return to home, but I've never needed the return to home. So what happens with this fella is you put your phone in here. This is also the antenna, by the way. And then you connect it, and it comes with both USB-C, which I'm an Android man, or a Fire, I believe it's called FireWire connection for the iPhones. And so you have your choice of which cable you plug in there. And it also folds away very nicely for storage too. You get that, you connect that to your phone. And you've got your ability to do photos and video. Here's a photo button. And this scroll gives a really smooth, beautiful up and down. And you can even set it to go slightly higher up as opposed to just stopping at horizontal, which I may actually do that sometime soon. I'm a very conservative flyer. That's something you need to know about me. Having lost a few drones, including recently, I'm very, very conservative about the way I fly. I don't see these as toys where I can zip them all over the place. If I want to zip a vehicle all over the place, I'll do an RC plane. They're a little less expensive in most cases, but at the level that I'm working at, and they're made for that. They're fun. They're usually lightweight foam, and you can actually have a lot of fun with those. There's other reviews for that, though. So let me explain something about the stability and the quality of the flight of this thing. Something that is a clear advantage over drones that are sometimes within $100 of this, even. I have lost, here at this location, 3 GPS-enabled drones. Now, in investigation and sharing information with one of the companies of the drones that was supplied to me, they came to the conclusion, and I kind of tend to agree with them, that being in a heavily geofenced area, that there is probably signals coming from the airport that interfere with the GPS. So what happened was, now there was one drone, I'm not going to say brand names because I'm not here to say, oh, this is a good drone, a bad drone. This happened, and I don't think it's the drone's fault at this point. I think this is my location and my not understanding the situation properly. One drone, I was out on the south side of the building. We're in a cul-de-sac where there's a semicircle of trees around us, which is why I know I can fly safe here, because if I fly at tree level or below, it doesn't matter if I'm near an airport, because if the plane's flying below tree level, they have bigger problems than my drone. So I do take that seriously, though. I do not screw around with trying to circumvent the law there. That's just, that would be foolish. So anyhow, I'm flying the first drone, and it gets about 100 feet away from me. It's a GPS-enabled drone, and it just all of a sudden takes off to the south, and it's heading for this little opening in the woods. So I figure I've got a shot at keeping it from being trapped in the trees. I try to take it up, see if I can regain control and hit the return to home. And the return to home kept getting interfered with, and it kept going further and further away. And then it even changed direction on me to the point that it was lost somewhere in the heavily wooded area. And I have no clue of recovering that one. That was pretty demoralizing. I kind of like these drones. I kind of get attached to them. Then I had another drone not too long ago where I had flown it for a week here in GPS mode, and I was actually getting very fond of it because even though it didn't have a 3-axis gimbal, as long as you know how to use that drone with that understanding, you can get some really great shots from it. And it was flying up right near the building that I work at. The building's 26 feet high. It's in a warehouse, and there's no access to the roof. And it's also 320 feet by 120 feet, and there's a couple of trailers parked at the back. So am I trying to run around it when a drone did a flyover, the unexpected flyover, lost control and went that way? I attempted to do return to home, and that also pushed it away. Are you seeing the pattern here? That one had a GPS locator on the app, and unfortunately, when I tried to overlay that map with a Google Earth map, so that I could get better bearing to understand, because there's kind of dangerous stuff to the west here. There's a boggy strip of wooded area with a stream running through it, and it's EPA controlled. And on the other side of that is a railroad tracks that are kind of sensitive, so they don't want people going there for So it's just wasn't a good place for that to go. I believe it's in that wooded area, but I just don't know where. Okay, why am I telling you this? Well, then there's the third one. The third one happened very recently, and I had just received this drone, GPS enabled, brand new out of the box. I had gone through, and of course, all the time, I go through all the pre-flight calibrations. That's absolutely critical. I took this one up. It had been flying for a minute. I had it just above the height of the roof because, of course, one of the things I want to do is get a shot over the roof, because that really will tell me what kind of clarity I have for how far I can see, because I don't want to go over the tree level that way. It took off. I couldn't believe it. It was like not even a minute into flight. I'm like, what the heck? And I tried to run around. I lost it for a while. And then about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I saw the video from Half Chrome that told me, hey, you can now fly the Specta Mini in geofenced areas. Well, I don't like putting this thing at risk. I do mind giving it tasks that I wouldn't put other drones to, but I don't like putting it at risk. So I did a few test flights after I initialized it, which did work, and it does fly here, and it flies extremely stably. It doesn't seem to be interfered with. That's something that that's kind of the point of this whole long story, is after losing 3 drones, this one located one of those drones. Because what had happened with the last drone was when it took off, here, I'm going to use this, when it took off over my roof, it was up here and it goes this way, it boomeranged back and came to a halt literally almost exactly above where I'm talking right now. Yeah, seriously. I felt stupid. On the other hand, and this thing, I flew it right over and I confirmed exactly which one it was, because the video is really sharp on this. The controllability is really sharp on this. And I also was able to determine there isn't another drone elsewhere on that roof, which at that point I was thinking maybe there is another drone on the roof. Yeah. So first off, the importance of geofenced areas and GPS enabled. Everything that I have experienced and all the communication I've had with that other manufacturer suggests to me that in a place like this, where particularly with a vicinity near an airport, features like return to home literally are repelling it, making it go the wrong way. Now, if it had just been one drone, I'd go, probably operator error or something like that. 3 drones all having the same type of experience where return to home simply didn't work, whereas I tested out back at home and they all work. And that was a big problem. However, This guy has shown zero inclination to be affected by this being a heavily geofenced area, which makes me feel really great because I shouldn't hit that because I love this drone. This is a really great drone. There's so many videos out there that talking about all the specs, and I highly recommend you check them out if you're interested in the Specta Mini. You know, why do I go with the Specta Mini over DJI? Well, I'm an underdog kind of guy. I like the underdog. I like to see what the people who aren't getting all the main press are doing, because the people who are, well, they're getting the main press. So anyhow, I've droned on and on, no pun intended there, about this. Told you why this thing is so special and why it's special to me. And you're going to see some clips of the video now. And I thank you for listening to me. Seriously, go to Amazon. That's, I think, the only real place you can buy the Specta Mini and the Specta Air. And they're coming out with a new Air. And they do, by the way, Amazon does sell Specta batteries. So they didn't at the time that I bought those guys, but they do now. So you can get a second or third battery. They're actually not too badly priced. They're about $40 if I remember correctly. This guy, I believe, averages around $279, $289, just below the 300 mark, but I'm sure there's times that it's going to waver on that. Sometimes come a little lower, sometimes probably even go a little higher. But the holidays are coming up, so if you're looking for somebody really special, to get them something really special, you know, the Specta Mini is a wonderful, wonderful bird to fly. The video is gorgeous, and if you do that firmware upgrade, you can pretty much fly anywhere as long as you fly safely, as the app says. Fly safely, be mindful of your surroundings and of the laws where you're at and of the general laws of piloting, and respect this as the vehicle that it is. It is not a toy. It is a device that you really pay full attention to when you're flying it. You can't think about your taxes. Can't think about did I leave the gas on at home and is it going to blow up? You have to be focused on taking care of this thing, and that's a lot of the fun of it. So I'm Joe, Studio Kaiju RC Review. Hit like and subscribe, or don't. You know, I can't force you to, because, well, we live in a representative republic, and, you know, it's not the sort of way we operate. And thank you so much for watching and being here. You're awesome. Have a great day.